Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to this edition of Handbook for the New Paradigm, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. We are on Volume 2, Embracing the Rainbow, and we are at the last session for Embracing the Rainbow. For those of you that are following along with me, I'm on page 250. The power of subtle thought, when focused through the converging point of mutual agreement by a group purposefully representing a whole for the highest and best, quote, good of that whole, is quite beyond the ability of the limited third dimensional mind to comprehend. There is now documented evidence of the power of prayer in the recovery from illness when it is focused by doctors, nurses, friends, and family for the, quote, good of the patient. The dynamic potential that is tapped is the agreement held within the focus group's desire to bring forth the highest and best good for the person. The desire is usually limited to the person returning to an apparently, quote, healthy state. However, that is not always the true highest and best good for that person, since the purpose of the lifetime is usually unknown to the person and to those attending them. So it is best to leave the focus open. Yeah, I only send energy for the outcome of the highest good at this point. And I didn't even realize that that was why, but that makes perfect sense to me. Further, the person themselves may have already placed their decision as to their future into the flow of creation. Again, this brings us back to the, oh, okay. So I was just shown this is what's behind my thought process of whether or not I'll make it into whatever, right? Because I have no idea at this point what is meant for me, what the true highest good for myself and the entire planet may be. Boy, that was really great, actually. So, hmm. Again, this brings us back to the concept of thought thinking, the flow of creative energy that focuses each individual into manifestation to begin with, and then maintains them in focus, is intelligent thought thinking, and is totally aware of what the highest and best good is in every instance when it is directed to think within that concept. Self-aware consciousness is manifested thought, aware of itself within its manifested surroundings. It is creation, checking itself out for the purpose of knowing not only itself, but investigating its abilities to manipulate its potential to experience and know itself to a greater extent. Each of you are creational thought engaged in this marvelous experiment. You are intelligent thought surrounded by the potential of intelligent thought. The only way you can be controlled is to allow yourselves to believe you are something you are not. You must be convinced to believe you are something you are not. You must be convinced that you are powerless and subject to the will of others, thus a victim. The intelligent thought that surrounds you is subject to your intentional will to direct it. If you fail to give it direction, it merely supports whatever direction someone else gives it regarding you. Thus, through induced ignorance, humanity has given consent to being manipulated. The most effective method for literally stealing your power has been through the diversion of the use of that power by convincing you to direct it outside yourselves to an unknown and little understood source called God. All power is vested in this vague, unknowable entity that may or may not redirect the energy that is given to it back again to the worshiping requester. This is further diluted if the energy must first be directed through a quote, priest-like entity, who then directs it to quote, the God, and requests it to be returned to you. The point being is that your power to direct, the point being it is your power to direct as you see fit. You are the singular focus of creation experiencing as you. The Bible contains a quoted question that reads something like, quote, "Know you not that you are God's," end quote. Indeed, you know it now. And I find that quite interesting because I was guided to revisit a book I first read when I was 19 years old. And I just finished the portion where the Martian looks at his friend and said, "Thou art God." And everybody freaks out, right? Indeed, you know it now. Learning to direct this power in harmony with the laws that underlay or support the wholeness of the flow of creation is the lesson to be accomplished. This cannot be effectively achieved unless the concept is known and accepted so that it may be practiced through experience into wisdom. Humanity on this planet is experiencing what results when the power of this energy is purposefully misused to restrict the evolvement of others for distorted experimentation. These entities are learning only how and to what extent others can be limited and manipulated into sacrifice and suffering. Yeah, these entities are learning only how and to what extent others can be limited and manipulated into sacrifice and suffering. Observing is not experiencing into wisdom. Humanity is learning that sacrifice and suffering only brings more of the same. It is time to awaken and realize that continuing on the same path will only continue the pattern. In order to change this experience, the current pattern must be acknowledged and a new pattern conceived to replace it. It may be difficult to accept that what has been taught for generations upon generations has been deliberately corrupted and given to you as truth in order to deceive and manipulate the entire population of a planet. It is more difficult to conceptualize a group focus that is so distorted as to spend eons of sequential time in the game of doing this dastardly deed. It is only necessary to accept it as what it is and resolve to withdraw your permission to be one of their plastic play pieces that bends and twists to fit their desires. It is the time now to take back your right to self-determination of your own present and future. This process leaves you not with less, but with more. You know in truth who and what you are. You now have a process in which to acquaint yourself with your inherent right and power to determine your own path. Leave the future of those who would enslave to the law of attraction. The key to their future is your withdrawal of approval and cooperation. In the moment in which their intense control focus is broken, the energy shifts for them also. Knowing this is enough. Do not spend time even considering their future. Be only concerned with creating your own. It is task enough to occupy each and all of you for some time to come. Now is an excellent time to begin. Does a new future require that every aspect of your current experience be left behind? Not necessarily, but each must be considered carefully so that it fits in the wholeness that serves the evolvement of all. It is best to begin with the statement of purpose, then a simple framework that can be, quote, painted in with what is appropriate, remembering that what is appropriate for one is not what may be appropriate for all. The application of the universal laws allows for diversity in harmony, a worthwhile goal to remember. If each is responsible for their individual intentions and actions, all will come together in amazing coordinated cooperation. Within the true realization of time, there is only now. The past is over and the future is yet to manifest as the quote nows pass into the past. And this last sentence here is bold. The dream of the new paradigm begins now and continues now. Well, that's the end of volume 2, and I will begin the last one, volume 3, which is entitled Becoming, and that will be coming soon. And I appreciate and love that you guys are following this. I do see that, there's been several more views since I've been away. I'm placing each one of these in their own playlist, and they should roll for you if you just start at the beginning, and the next one should be the next one that comes up. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope if you are new here that you will go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when I upload a video or go live, which will be happening more now that I am feeling better and different. I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It really is just a matter of perspective and your own willingness to, in the heat of the moment, realize that there is always more than one way to see, look at, or deal with something that may be appearing in your life. Until we meet again, be well, my friends. Mwah.